The movie opens with Hancock, a homeless man who frequently drinks. One day, while sleeping on a bench, a boy wakes him up and points to a TV broadcasting a police chase. Despite his disheveled appearance, Hancock possesses superhuman abilities. Understanding the boy's request, he grabs his liquor bottle and takes off with such force that he obliterates the bench. Unfortunately, his drunkenness and reckless behavior lead to extensive property damage. He destroys the sidewalk, the bench, a road sign, and several police cars. Later, during a confrontation with criminals, he loses his liquor bottle and becomes enraged, using his feet to halt their car, causing further destruction to the highway. Eventually, he impales the car on a tower. As a result, the public ridicules him, and the police consider him a nuisance. Ray Embry, a public relations spokesperson, finds himself trapped on a railroad track with a car in front and another behind. As a train approaches, he futilely tries to escape, but ends up causing damage to the cars. Hancock appears, effortlessly saving Ray by lifting the car away from the train's path and stopping the locomotive. Despite criticism, Hancock's heroic act leaves an impact. Later, as Hancock prepares to leave, Ray offers to enhance Hancock's public image, but Hancock hesitates. Ray insists, giving him a business card and suggesting he consider it. In the couple's bedroom, Mary criticizes Hancock, while Ray defends him, puzzled by her intense dislike. Hancock, listening from the rooftop, senses that Ray understands him. The next day, after reflection, Hancock decides to give Ray's proposal a chance. He visits Ray's house, crashing through the floor upon landing. When one of the kids calls him a jerk, Hancock confronts the boy, asking for his name. Despite Hancock's request, the boy, speaking with a heavy French accent, continues to label him a jerk and bothers Ray's son. Despite continued taunting from a mischievous boy, Hancock decides to scare him by launching him into the air. Ray, witnessing this, is pleased that Hancock has come to trust him. Hancock retrieves the boy and allows him to reunite with his father. Ray's focus will be addressing Hancock's tendency to cause destruction. Ray shows Hancock videos of his own foolish actions on the internet, where he unintentionally draws negative attention, from extinguishing an apartment fire while nearly naked in front of children to launching a beached whale. With great force, Hancock's actions are impulsive. Ray empathizes with Hancock's loneliness and desire for acceptance. While Ray attempts to prevent Hancock from drinking, Mary arrives and switches on the TV news. The reporter mentions multiple arrest warrants for Hancock, who failed to appear in court. Strangely, Mary seems satisfied with this revelation. Inspired by the situation, Ray proposes that Hancock surrender to the authorities and transform himself in prison to demonstrate Los Angeles' need for him. Ray predicts that within 2 weeks, people will beg for Hancock's return to the streets. In the worst-case scenario, Hancock can always fly out of jail. Although Hancock isn't thrilled about the idea, he agrees. We witness him making a public speech where some reporters reprimand him. Following Ray's script, Hancock pledges to attend anger management therapy and improve. Meanwhile, Mary watches the news and feels guilty. In the penitentiary, Hancock undergoes registration, including fingerprinting and a photo. While en route to his cell, Hancock faces confrontations from vengeful criminals aiming to assert dominance. Most inmates are there because of Hancock, but he avoids trouble. When cooperation proves elusive, Hancock threatens one of the guys, and to everyone's surprise, he follows through, placing the guy's head exactly where he promised. Now, nobody dares challenge him. Ray, however, isn't amused. He informs Hancock that the prosecution suggests either an 8-year prison term or 4.5 years with good behavior. Surprised, Hancock disagrees, but reluctantly agrees to stay. Ray coaches him daily on controlling his flight, landing, takeoff, and social skills, including handshakes and compliments. While in prison, Hancock spends time playing basketball and attending anger management meetings, where he mostly listens. News reports reveal a significant rise in crime following his imprisonment. Mary and her son, Aaron, visit Hancock, bringing him spaghetti and meatballs. During their conversation, Mary emphasizes that Ray is a good man and urges Hancock not to disappoint him. Ray later provides Hancock with a suit to wear when called for assistance. Despite hesitations, Hancock accepts it as a representation of himself. One day, while playing basketball, the ball flies out of the prison. Hancock retrieves it outside, but the guards misinterpret it as an escape attempt. Despite the opportunity to flee, Hancock chooses to stay, genuinely committed to change. During an anger management meeting, the character finally opens up, simply stating their name and that they used to drink. The other attendees praise them for this vulnerability, and the character begins to feel somewhat accepted. Later, the character is contacted by the police chief to help prevent a brutal bank robbery. The character prepares for the anticipated day, grooming themselves and putting on a special suit. The robbery leads to a shootout between the police and the criminals, with bombs attached to the hostages. The character is released from prison. The police officer provides the character with the case details: 8 hostages, 4 criminals, and an officer shot in the crime crossfire. The character then compliments the officer, saying she is doing a good job, and enters the dangerous situation. As expected, the character is unharmed by the bullets and grenades. The character then reaches the wounded officer and politely asks for permission to touch her, picks her up, and moves her to safety, trying to be a true gentleman. The character uses the car as a shield to transport the injured officer to safety. Determined to end the situation quickly, the character starts circling the building and apprehending the criminals one by one. The last robber threatens to blow everyone up if the character doesn't open the safe and give him all of the money, then take him away from there. When the thief insults the character by calling him a fool, it sparks his anger. The character unscrews a light bulb, flattens it, and sharpens it. Then, the character asks the thief to call him a fool one more time. Just as the thief is about to speak, the thief's arm with the detonator is suddenly gone. With the case successfully concluded, the character hands the handcuffed criminal's severed arm with the detonator to the police officer, and people thank him for a job well done. The character's friend, Ray, is proud and very pleased with the outcome. Suddenly, the character is admired by the people, with everyone wanting a photo and a handshake from him. One day, the character, along with his friends Ray and Mary, is invited to a thank you dinner. There, he opens up a bit about himself to Ray and Mary, saying that he is immortal because the last thing he remembers is 80 years ago when he woke up in a hospital after a head injury. He recovered quickly, but what saddens him is that he's never been sought after by anyone. This leads to Mary crying and trying to contain her tears. She apologizes to Hancock, but he doesn't understand why, as he believes she did nothing wrong. Later at home, Hancock puts the drunken Ray to bed. Before leaving, Ray grabs Hancock's hand and tells him he will be fine and that he will fix everything. Hancock then goes downstairs and sees Mary doing the dishes. She tries to say goodbye to him, but the conversation doesn't end, and something draws them closer together. Mary notices Hancock's injured hand, which shouldn't be possible. Hancock says he doesn't know how it happened and mentions feeling strange. Something more intimate happens between them, and after a kiss, Hancock is shocked to discover that Mary isn't an ordinary woman. Thrown outside onto a car, Mary approaches the character, flying, and threatens him, saying she'll kill him if his friend Ray ever finds out about it, leaving the character very surprised to learn that Mary has superhuman powers. In the morning, Ray is hungover and notices the damage to the house. Mary blames the character, saying he sneezed and caused it. She does everything in her power to portray herself as a helpless and fragile wife. When the character arrives and Ray receives a call, the character tries to confirm that what he witnessed the previous day is true. He attempts to stab Mary with a fork, but it only bends. Then, he hits her with a rolling pin, but it shatters with 1,000 pieces, and she feels nothing. The character threatens to expose Mary unless she explains what was going on, and they arrange to meet. Mary visits Hancock, appearing different. She reveals they've lived with powers for 3,000 years, once known as gods and angels, now called superheroes. They're the last of their kind. The room heats up, popcorn even popping. Hancock questions their relationship, but Mary claims they're siblings. He disagrees, recalling their non-sibling connection. Hancock flies off, Mary pursuing. A destructive fight ensues in the city center. Mary, frustrated, hurls a truck at him. During a superhuman confrontation, Hancock and Mary wreak havoc, colliding and destroying everything in their path. Ray, witnessing this, is stunned. Hancock, holding Mary, apologizes for past actions he can't recall and calls her the most beautiful thing he's seen. Later, Mary explains to Ray that she and Hancock are technically married, but separated a long time ago. They're the last of their kind, drawn to each other despite her attempts to avoid it. The dramatic revelation leaves Ray wondering about their future. In the evening, Hancock seeks solace in alcohol at a liquor store. On the TV news, he learns that a bank robber he once saved has escaped from prison. While buying expensive bottles, the store owner signals for help by covering the zero in the price. Hancock intervenes in the robbery. However, when one of the criminals shoots him, he feels pain and starts bleeding. Mary later explains that when two immortals get physically close, they lose their powers. Ray accompanies his son in the hospital elevator to visit Hancock. The escaped bank robber is also present, up to no good. Mary recounts how she and Hancock, vulnerable as humans, faced attacks when they lived together as a couple. Hancock always defended her, but suffered serious injuries. They would separate until their powers returned. Mary describes Hancock's scars, including one from 80 years ago in a Miami alley. During a robbery, he was beaten and suffered amnesia. Mary left him at the hospital to recover. After Mary's explanation, the hospital is invaded by escaped bank robbers and other criminals Hancock encountered during his prison time. Mary is shot while defending Hancock. He uses his remaining power to stop two attackers with his hospital bed. After securing Mary, he throws an invader out of the window but sustains further injuries. injuries. Ray and his son watch helplessly. Hancock weakens, stabbed in the back, while Mary feels the pain. An explosion hurls him away, and a criminal begins to strangle him. To survive, Hancock retaliates and throws the criminal out the window. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.